Game Day continues on News Talk, KVNU, and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan. A complete recap of all the action of your Utah State Aggies. Phone calls and texts are welcome. Aggie Game Day coverage is sponsored by Cash Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, LSS Insurance, Young Truck and Trailer, DD Auto and Salvage, My Mattress, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Elements Restaurant, White Pine Funeral Home, ChemDry of Northern Utah, Aegis Home Health and Hospice, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cash Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Darrell's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and Golden Spike Electric. It's KVNU Aggie Call with Al Lewis and Eric Branson.
Hey, we got something special for you. We've got an Aggie victory over New Mexico, which is the most important thing, 27-10 the final. The special team scored, the defense scored, the offense scored in the game. We will talk about the Aggies win. But we also are really, really excited to have some special guests on our postgame tonight. Eric Franson is off. He had a family deal, knew that was going to happen a long time before today, so we knew he'd be without him. Then Ryan Bohm's son, who's normally with us, his son continued to play winning football in the postseason, and they've got a championship game going on, I think out in the rain somewhere in the valley right now. And so I'm fortunate enough to be able to bring in longtime broadcast partner on some games, John Pappas. And then we also have DJ Nelson joining with us as well, and John Russell was the designated replacement for Eric Franson. John.
I look at it. This is the dream team. Al, DJ, John Pappas,
John,
and that other guy.
That other guy. You're the fourth amigo. Okay, John. It's nice to have you with us.
Good to be here.
But again, guys, it's good to have you here with us as well as the Aggies won. I sat with John the whole game, like I did a few years broadcast-wise today. John, get that microphone in close to you there. And let's talk about an Aggie win. First off, we saw right from the start the Aggies jump out and get a quick lead, and we're thinking, okay, this is going to be a piece of cake.
New Mexico, I think, played really hard today, but the scoring right off set the tone, I thought, for Utah State. And I thought, this is going to be a nice win for Utah State. But things changed.
And the change was we couldn't protect the quarterback and we couldn't run the ball as well after a while there. And they started to run the ball better.
Yeah, the two major factors I saw today was the offensive line of Utah State had really a lot of problems with New Mexico's stunning. We couldn't pick it up, and our quarterback really was running for his life a lot of the plays.
Well, the second quarter, we didn't complete a pass in the second quarter. I don't think if we did, it was for 0 yards on the one, the completion they had. And New Mexico had a 10-7 lead at the end of the first half after we had led 7-0. DJ Nelson, you were there to watch this game in the stadium, and tell you what, you pointed it out in the fourth quarter. Mother Nature maybe helped out the Aggies in some ways, but the Aggies, again, there were some things in this game. The special teams were huge in this game today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you think about the first kick that set us up for the short score. Luckily, it came on their mistake. But the execution that I saw just from the punts, from the kickoff cover, just up and down, I think the special teams was very prepared. And when you don't have your best stuff on offense and it's tough to stop on defense, like a team like New Mexico State is, that extended triple option essentially, special teams can become a factor. So I think it was a great win when you look at it that way, meaning that this is a complete team win.
I think all year long, and I don't know, John, how often you've joined with us, but all of you can point in here, Utah State made adjustments at halftime in this game.
Yeah.
They finally decided they could run the ball some. And Robert Briggs, I don't know what happened to Calvin Tyler. There had to be an injury because he was the runner right till the end of the first half. But Briggs ran the ball in the second half, and the defense finally, they gave him a huge run there at the start of the second half, a couple of big runs, and then that was it. The rest of the game, they couldn't run the ball, and then, of course, they couldn't throw the ball. All of you join in here.
Yeah, the thing you point out, Al, is the adjustment on the second half. Utah State was a little successful running the ball, which helped. And the passing game, I would have rather seen a short passing game, but he tried to go, I think, deep too often. And New Mexico, I thought, did a great job in mixing up the coverage to zone and man.
Yeah, that's the thing you get when there's Rocky Long's influence all over the field, right? And you saw them in the box playing very physical and tough. And then they had a good scheme on the perimeter as well, like most teams have had against us. I think we lack a little bit of playmaking ability that we had from carryover from last year. But the thing that I thought was good on offense, at least, was you started to see a little bit of a connection with a slot guy, which was what made us so successful last year.
Two catches by Rashad Vaughn, Terrell Vaughn, make
over
it
the middle.
Kind of changed the game in a lot of ways, didn't it?
Exactly. And that's the thing. One of them was a great second window. Cooper held on to it. He didn't have the slant initially, waited for the second window, and then one was obviously on a free play. But that is what makes the offense tick and go. And if you can do that against a tough defense and again, let's give credit to New Mexico for the defense that they play. Apart from 2 games against Boise and Fresno, who are the top of the division, they're within 10 points each night. So that was very encouraging in the second half as far as the adjustment. And then, I just thought it was a good, like you mentioned, coming out of halftime to kind of take control of the game at home. And then obviously we had the Mother Nature on our side in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, the first run of the second half by them, they ran, 43 yards. Remember, right after we had got the field goal. Well, we got the Cole run on the fake field goal to go up 14-10. They had 43 yards. After that, the rest of the game, I'm looking at my charts here, their longest run after that, or their longest play after that, was 10 yards.
Yeah.
After that. So we really did finally start. And then when it was obvious that they were going to have to try to pass, then it was exactly, and John, you probably saw it as much as anybody, when they had to pass, they were in trouble.
Yeah, he has, I think, very poor fundamentals throwing the ball. and his receivers, when you're not a passing team, have a hard time separating. And so he had very little windows to throw to. But Utah State, I thought, finally then picked up the defensive pressure, and that helped in the second half.
I really liked seeing that, and DJ made a great point there in the fact that, let's not overlook who New Mexico is. What they do is they play defense, and it was whether they were going to produce offensively. Yep. And in the first half, from Utah State's perspective, the way I looked at it, they had to get used to Laga again. They'd been without him for a couple of games, and it takes a while. That touchdown kind of made us all feel like, oh, we're gonna blow up for 70 points today. But he had to get back into the game. His teammates had to get back in, used him back in the game. I think it was a great second half, though. Was
it too easy to score early, do you think, DJ? Did you kind of feel that in the stadium, like with the score in the second play of the game offensively, that it was just too easy? Maybe they thought it was going to come too easy?
Yeah, I think you run that risk, especially because it's like the message that they kind of sent was we're not ready to play. Obviously with the miscommunication on the kickoff to start the game and then going 3 and out that quick. So you can, but the sign of a mature team would be to keep your pedal on the gas the whole entire time, because the next series we go 3 and out. Right, so that's kind of like you mentioned, growing pains, whether it's getting used to Cooper or not. But it seems to be kind of the struggle that we've had all year is finding a rhythm offensively. So I'm not gonna say they thought they had it in the bag, because I don't think that Coach Anderson would send that message to his teams. I think he gets them more well prepared than that. But it is definitely hard to overcome a quick score that makes it look like hey, this is gonna be a walk in the park.
We'd love to hear from our listeners, and you can always text into to. Go ahead. Give the number. Do you remember it? 435-339-0321. The
phone number is 753-5868 or 753-KVNU. I'll try to look over my shoulder and watch that as much as I can. First touchdown of the game, John, you picked up right off the bat. As soon as the play started, you go the safety. Really blew that play to give us the wide open touchdown to Rashad.
Whatever he was looking at or being coached up, he flattened out immediately, and he thought maybe it was going to be an outside, but the receiver turned it up the field, and he already had 3 steps on him. So the quarterback looked at that and said, "Man, this is going to be a nice game."
And you don't get that. And you don't get that very often against Rocky Long's defenses.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of mistakes. They play, I think, very smart, but he mixed it up a lot, and I think Utah State's quarterback got confused at times. But like DJ said, I think they settled down. But also, Al, they played a lot of young players today.
Yeah. John, I think you're exactly right. We saw way more zone than Rocky has ever run in my experience.
And maybe they feel like they have to with their inexperience, or what? Their defense doesn't work if he doesn't get 3 or 4 good guys up front that can pressure. Maybe they don't feel like they've got that yet or something.
And what they were doing, you mentioned it earlier, when their stunt game with just D-line games in general allowed them to back off a little bit. And a lot of that, I was kind of sitting up there and I was thinking, we saw more basic pass concepts this week. There was a little bit more sit concepts over the middle. There was some curl flat stuff that we haven't seen in the past, both due to quarterback injury and in our offense in general. But Cooper, for whatever reason, was having a hard time a little bit seeing what was going on. And I think it's because they were mixing everything up. They were a lot less aggressive in the pass game.
They really did pressure Cooper a lot.
They took away the long passing game, but I think weather had a lot to do with that too.
Yeah, especially which direction you're going until all of a sudden the wind changed in the fourth quarter there at the end.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Real quick, our first text comes from 9315, and he asks, great to see someone who used to work for Rocky end up beating him. Do you think that opening play, that opening pass, was kind of an understanding of how Rocky likes to run his defense and said, hey, I got a feeling we may be able to go long right off the bat?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, you game plan a lot of different ways, and you may game plan against the offensive coordinator or see what he's done in the past. So, yeah, you're right.
I think, too, it was, hey, we got a good situation here, bad punt, let's be aggressive.
Okay. We've got Sean waiting on the line very patiently. Sean, are you still there? And go ahead and on Aggie Call postgame. Again, we appreciate you joining with us on KVNU Logan and also on KLGN Logan. We're on the Fan and KVNU. Sean, what have you got for us today?
We are just exiting a victorious, Romney Stadium. It's a great day in Logan. The weather held out for just long enough to make it enjoyable, and it's good to see the boys get a win despite kind of a sluggish first half.
Okay. And any other observations you'd like to ask these guys questions? DJ Nelson, John Pappas, John Russell joining with me, Al Lewis. Anything else, Sean?
Is there any way we can get less TV timeouts? We've been done about 30 minutes ago without those darn TV timeouts.
If you know what, if you'd pay maybe double your ticket price and give another couple $1,000s, then we might have a chance. That's probably about it these days. So.
Yeah, I got some bills to pay. No, just happy for the win and hoping for slightly better weather in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we hope so, too, when San Jose comes to town. Sean, thanks for joining with us again. 753-5868's that number. John, you watching our text line for us?
Yeah, a couple more.
Okay.
And, same question. This came from 5879. Have we heard anything about Calvin Tyler? And
we won't, unless we'll wait. Hopefully Jason Walker will have the stuff from the press conference up at the stadium, and we'll be able to hear what the coach. I'm sure somebody will ask him about that, and then we'll get some kind of maybe answer, and they may not be able to make an answer on that.
I saw, because I was at the game, obviously. He had his helmet and was kind of like walking around the sidelines, but he was staying very close to the heater. Makes me think that there was something going on that he was not able to go.
And especially if he's not standing with a helmet and all.
Exactly.
And it had to happen because, again, he carried about the second to last play of the first half that the Aggies had offensively.
It could have been bothering him very well early on, and then at halftime he went over to the trainer and they did whatever they needed to do.
That could be a point.
We also heard from 6543. All of a sudden we're going to, got a good win, but they came back and said watching the Aggies struggle against this weak team doesn't give me any warm fuzzies. I think it was the weather that he does. That's why he doesn't have any warm fuzzies. So thoughts on that, and also wondering about the Hall suspension.
Okay, yeah, and they announced that before the game that Gervin Hall was suspended for the game. If you're suspended for a game, that's got to be something university rules or team rules. That's the only reason why that you would be suspended. So there's something there that you may not ever hear about why. I mean, and that's been back forever in football for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, the weak part of New Mexico is offensively because they don't score a lot of touchdowns, but they have played great defense. Again, I think a number of teams struggled also with New Mexico's defense.
Well, Fresno didn't really pull away from their game big until later on. We didn't start to get something going until a little later on. I mean, they've been around some of those games. Boise didn't exactly walk over them with their offense in the game at all, for sure.
I think, obviously when you play great defense and your offense doesn't score, your defense is going to be on the field a long time, and they're going to get scored on.
And it accumulates.
And that was our problem against Wyoming last week for sure. We got beat up and beat down the last time we played before the game today. And I was thinking, okay, we're going to get another one of those games. But we fortunately in the second half did make some defensive stands against them to get them off the field rather than some of their longer drives. We need to take a break, and then we will return. And with your calls, your texts, again, it is game day on KVNU and The Fan, our Aggie Game Day Brought to you by Golden Spike Electric. Remember, Mother Nature could take away the power during wintertime at some time, and in your home or business, stay safe. Get one of those Generac backup generators from Golden Spike Electric. Also brought to you by Alpine Home Medical, the spot for superior level of customer service for all of your home medical needs. 774-4500. DJ Nelson, John Pappas, John Russell with me, Al Lewis, and we'll return as the Aggies won 27-10 today at the stadium.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
Over the last few years, we have expanded the store to create one of the largest engagement selections in northern Utah. In addition to our goldsmith, we now have a design team that creates, casts, and brings to life your one-of-a-kind ring right here in our store, all for one common goal, to make it special for you. If you haven't been in yet, come see what makes us so special.
Jarrett's fine jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarrett's.
Hi, this is Ashley from LSS Insurance. Are you getting 3 or more calls a day about Medicare? Telemarketers that offer an amazing Medicare benefit? That amazing offer may be available if you live in Florida or Arizona. At LSS Insurance, we offer the right plans for our area, and I guarantee you will get better benefits at a lower cost. It's time to enroll or change your Medicare plan. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493 or go to lssins.com or come to our free third Thursday meeting.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Our biggest sale of the year is today until 6 p.m. You've heard about it, so don't miss it. Black Friday pricing now. Plus, when you buy more, you save more. Up to a $500 instant rebate on select purchases. Wait, there's more. Triple dip in savings with an additional Daryl's exclusive mail-in rebate. Save up to $800 more on select purchases. It's today only until 6 p.m. Daryl's 52nd annual fall sale. Financing available. Come experience the Daryl's difference with our famous service team. Daryl's West on Airport Road.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Prodigy Brewing on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Raining pretty good in Logan right now. Fortunately, though, Mother Nature kept it away for the game today. And it wasn't too bad to sit up in the stadium, was it today? Chase?
No, it was
I'm
not.
sorry, I called you Chase.
It's
DJ.
okay. My own parents do that to me. So. I mean, I'm 29 now. I still do.
But you've recovered from all that.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I got called my dog once.
But DJ Nelson, again, I should mention, DJ, let's see, the years you played were 15?
So 14 to 18.
14 to 18.
Yeah, 5 played 4. I
Okay.
redshirted 14 and then
went through. And then, John, your years were?
64 to 68.
64 to 68. John, I want fans on game day on KVNU and the Fan today to listen to John. What's your all-time record as a quarterback against University of Utah and BYU?
As a freshman to my senior year, I was 6-0.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Do you have any eligibility left?
And also on BYU, it was 5-0.
Awesome.
And then another nice situation. I was asked to speak in front of a team on a spring practice, and we were on, obviously, the home field. And I told this group, I said, the years I played, we never lost a home game on the years I played. And I think that was really important to hold home field. And the players that we had was Gary Anderson's team, and they almost pulled that off.
Yeah, they almost did. John, you are the winningest percentage starting quarterback in Utah State history.
Yes, yeah, I think it was like 78% winning.
Wow. Winning percentage.
Wow.
But the one record that was kind of interesting, which they don't keep now, was, and I led the nation in yards per catch, which was almost 17 yards per completion.
My goodness.
And thing was, we didn't throw a lot. I think I only averaged maybe 24 passes a game, but we went downfield, and which was fun to do.
Yeah. Nowadays, again, teams just want everything in front of them, don't they?
Yes,
they want
indeed.
everything in front of them, nothing over the top.
Yep.
And today, DJ Nelson, you got tied by Connor Coles. He scored on a fake field goal.
go.
You were the last guy to score on a fake field goal for Utah State.
Yep, it was Wyoming 2017. We ran a similar one, but we kind of missed direction, and I kept it, essentially. Same version of the fake, but just with the holder. So.
You didn't pitch like
Didn't pitch
Constantly
Nope.
did today.
No,
So.
did not.
And against, you said Josh Allen, which would be nice to someday be able to say that.
Josh
Josh Allen. But it's not. You know what's not nice is we scored to go up at that point, and then Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, and we ended up losing.
Yeah, the second half he kind of made some plays. He really did. John Russell's here today along with John Pappas and DJ Nelson. We'd love you to join with us. You can ask questions. You make comments, 753-KVNU, or the text line, which is 435-339-0321.
Yeah, I got a few more coming in here from 9315. Do you guys feel like the game was mucked up at all? And I think by that, was it made ugly? What are your thoughts on that?
I would say yes, and that's the way that New Mexico wanted it to be,
Yeah.
and that's kind of their game. It's always how it's been, right? Like, I hate to keep harping on it, but Rocky Long's been doing it a long time at one place, and that is the way that they want the game to go. So for us to be able to, I appreciated our first caller being very happy, right?
Yeah.
Like, because we're a team under 500 right now, fighting for a bowl game, and to be able to win that game ugly in the fashion that we did, you got to be excited about that.
Well, that's the thing, is winning is the key.
Yeah.
Whether it's a pretty game or whether it's something like this, I agree with you. And you look at San Diego State when he was there; it was the same thing.
They mucked up a lot of games.
They had better athletes.
I mean, let's face it, John. They had to win with their defense today, and then the Aggies' special teams made a difference in this game that kind of turned it our direction to where finally we could move the ball a little bit offensively.
Yeah, and one of the strategies, obviously, when you have a great defense, is position on the field. And that's what they accomplished today. We had long fields, except the first score. We had 80 or 70-yard drives we had to accomplish, and that's pretty tough against his defense.
And the key really you have to look at is turnovers. How many turnovers did the Aggies?
And we scored with a defensive touchdown.
So you look at a situation like that, and I think that's a big number. You're going to be able to look at different numbers, running yards, what the defense, New Mexico's defense did. There are all sorts of things you can look at. No turnovers. That to me is the biggest number.
And John, to go back to your point on field position, shout out to Cotson 44.5 average on 6 punts.
And a fake punt himself.
That extended the drive. Yeah. Like, when you're talking, it seemed we were backed up, 4 or 5 times probably.
Yeah.
How about the half-a-yard line?
When you're able to, when you don't get a first down, because goal coming out of backed up is 2 first downs. If you don't get those 2 first downs and you're still able to get the ball past the 40, oh my God, the boost that gives the sideline and the defenses they're going out is just incredible. So.
Absolutely. Aegis Home Health and Hospice is one of our sponsors. That's AEGIS. myaegis.com, again, for all of your nursing services and healthcare needs in Cache, Boxall, or Rich County. So Aggies scored 7-0 on the second offensive play for the Aggies after they forced a 3-and-out as the guy for New Mexico decided to try to run it out of the end zone to start the game when his teammates tell him don't go, and he then got out, and he almost was a safety. It was pretty close to being a safety, but again, they got the ball, and it was 3-and-out. The Aggies took over at the 43 after the short punt into the wind, and again, Tyler ran for 5, and then Vaughn caught the touchdown pass. And so we're up 7-0, and you're thinking, okay, get a 3-and-out. Aggies get the ball at the 14. They flipped the field a little bit on the Aggies, and nothing happened there. 3-and-out again for them. And then the Aggies had an 11-play drive, and Coles missed the field goal. That's the only thing today special teams-wise that didn't work. And it was trying to kick. Well, John and I watched it. We played a lot of golf. He was trying to hook back in with that wind, wouldn't let it.
Yeah, the wind was with him, but obviously, when you get too much wind, the ball's not going to move that much. And Alavai had shots like that in golf where it didn't work out well. He hit it well. I mean, he hit it solid, but the wind did affect it.
I would have loved to have seen a shot of the crowd at that time, because everybody would have been given the English lean and hard.
It was.
Trying to get it through.
I certainly did, but exactly to your point, and where Connor kind of has a natural little hook or draw when I played with Connor.
Yeah.
So it was just the wind accelerated it, and it didn't quite sneak in.
It didn't come back in. So
the second and third kick though were great.
Oh yeah, they were. And so then all of a sudden the game's still standing 7-0, and New Mexico, this next series for them is when again they get a 23-yard run by the quarterback on the first play of the series. They get another 18-yard catch. They had some of their better offensive plays, and I'm writing down over here, we got called for disconcerting signals, which it seems like we're the only team in the country that gets that against us all the time. Yeah. Got to think everybody's out there yelling stuff all the time. Missed tackles is the other thing I wrote down in that series. But then Nevis did make a defensive stand at the end that made them kick a field goal and only make it a 7-3 ball game. But then the next series is when we start the second quarter. Cooper is sacked. The next time they get the ball, they score. They had an 18-yard run by the quarterback again, and then How about the power I? Bringing back the John Pappas days of football. They had 3 guys behind the quarterback, and they got it in on a 4. That was like a third down play. I think it was 3rd and 1.
Yeah, it was the old Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
You know, when they did that, and you know, when you're not scoring a lot of points, you got to do a lot of different things. But one of the things that I noticed a lot was when New Mexico got in the red zone, they struggle a lot, and that I think helped Utah State. You know, I think mindset. Okay, yeah, they're here, but we can hold them, and that's what they did.
That was the first touchdown for New Mexico in 12 quarters.
Wow.
They had field goals, but they had not scored a touchdown, and the outside leverage on that play was completely gone once they started the play. So they're up 10-7, and we're thinking, okay, the next series, again, a sack against Cooper, but then the fake punt by Constantly kept the thing going. We got it to midfield, but then once again could not go any further, and then punted the ball back to them, and then they miss a field goal at the end of the first half, basically. And so it's the 10-7 ball game. And then look at the way the second half started. I'm trying to recap the game for everybody, 27-10, if you did not watch or were not part of it. The Aggies' first series of the second half, they ran 14 plays from the 12-yard line. The only thing that hurt our special teams today is twice on kickoffs and punts we got personal fouls called against us that pushed it back. So we had to go 88 yards on this series. But then there's a late hit that helped us get a first down. Early steer. Then Cobbs made a nice catch to get a first down. McGriff finally made a catch over the middle. And then Briggs is running a 24-yard run. He couldn't get all the way to the end zone. And we're thinking, uh-oh, we're in trouble. And they went for that 3rd down and goal at the 6 and ran the ball. And we're all just shaking our heads. But then the 4th down play is the fake punt. How do you make a fake punt like that, DJ, work? Because it worked for you before. How do you make that kind of thing work? Yeah. Is that something they've schemed all week long and seen on film or something?
I'm going to throw my hat in and say yeah, because of the way the 3rd down got called. They wanted it to be a hard hash, and then they went tackle over, more than likely. I'd have to watch the film. But tackle over meaning they took one tackle who usually was on the left, put him to the field to the right to prevent field pressure. They probably saw something or scouted something to where, hey, if we can down block this gap and seal this, we're able to essentially go hat for hat. And essentially that's what it was. It was a boundary side, hat for hat kind of trap, if you will. My guess is, and because everyone was kind of perplexed by that 3rd down call, they probably had it in the back pocket knowing, hey, like, let's be safe here. Let's not throw a pick. We got this fake. It's a 100%er. It's a green all the way. We don't have to check out of it. And they had that called.
And so the score by Coles ends up being a run officially of 4 yards for a touchdown. And then they get the 43-yard run the first time they touch the ball in the second half. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go. They go over 100 yards rushing with the running back. But then after that, we shut them down, made them punt. The punter, remember, they punted to our half-yard line. We started from there. And we had to punt the ball, didn't get a first down, and their punter muffed it. Remember, and it was recovered by Jamie Nance, bounced right to him, and then the Aggies got a scoring drive going.
That punt was insane. He was out of the own end zone and got it to that was almost 60 yards.
We took over at the 40-yard line. Yeah, he was running backwards,
and we were punting from the end zone.
We were. And so then an offside gives us a first down after Briggs had a couple of runs. We get sacked, but then we kick a 49-yard field goal by Coles to go up 17-10 with 4:32 to play. Their next series, 1 first down. We get them off the field. We go into the next part of the game here where they actually drove it to about the 46-yard line, but then we took over and we come down and Coles gets another field goal with 7:44 to go to make the game 20-10 at that point. And that was Vaughn's had the 2 catches that we talked about that kind of got it going. And then the wind and the rain came and right into their face when you think it's into their help out, and it did not help them at all. We eventually take over, and, of course, we didn't get anything. We had to punt the ball back to them. They take over the 20, and on the third play of the drive is when Reynolds recovers after he's stripped by A.J. Von Pachong and Patrick Joyner Jr., and the 35-yard run for a touchdown, and that really is the game. So that's the scoring recap on this game, and that's brought to you by Les Olson Company. Remember, your office technology partner. All right, so John Pappas, DJ Nelson, John Russell with me. John, anything else text line?
Yeah, just a couple more.
7535 or 7339-0321 is the text line.
For the text line. And just comment here again, this is from 6057. Special teams and defense won the game. I'll take it. Offense needs to work things out. Works things through, and we can get into that. This one's more for DJ, and this one, again, nice timing on the fake field goal. after the distraction ejection. The holder should get credit for the TD toss. I know DJ would agree, but he got the touchdown, so he got what he needed to. I want to go back to that because it's clearly a big pivotal play and made.
And the play they're talking about before, Josh Sturzer standing up for his fellow tight end who was getting hacked by the one guy from New Mexico, so he just all of a sudden decided to try to help him, and he got thrown out of the game.
Can't be throwing things, but. You had talked about it a little earlier, but if you could go through it again, at what point does the coaching staff make that call?
They probably – so Blake and the special teams coordinator probably have on second down thought, are we good for the fake here? And if he says, yep, we're good, 100%er, we're getting the looks that we want early on in the game, then at that point he – probably knows in the back of his mind, Blake does. I don't think he'd tell the offensive coordinator, but he might tell him, like, hey, this is 4-down territory, we got a fake. So at that point, the offensive coordinator's thinking, okay, let's just, if we have this fake and if it's 100%er and we can get it there, we're inside the 5, 6, whatever, great. It's kind of a no-win situation. Did we have the lead at that point, Al?
Yeah,
do you remember?
We had taken the lead.
We had taken the lead, right. So, worst case scenario.
No, let's see. We haven't. We were down. We were still down.
It was 10 to
7. Yeah.
10. Okay.
14 to 10.
Correct. So at that point, you're feeling good about your defense. Like, all right, worst case scenario, they're backed up. They got to get multiple first downs, right? So my guess is, and this is what it was like when I played, was second down, we know we're green on a fourth. And at that point, the play calling kind of adjusts accordingly to not give the ball to them or put anything like that into jeopardy.
So at that point, though, if you're lining, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
There's a factor that I think sometimes you kind of miss on very short field goals. The rush isn't as great because we can't block this.
Yeah, that's right, too.
And I think that comes into play because your penetration isn't that much, and so it's easier to block the guy.
I think if you watch a lot of fakes in college, they are hard hash because the hashes are so wide, and they're short. They're 15, 10 yards in on like a 4th and 7 for that exact reason, right? Nobody can get that sharp of an angle to go block. And so they'll just protect the field because that's where they're vulnerable, and most teams will just run right into the boundary.
Yeah, it's not a desperation call. No. It's like TJ said, it's planned.
Yeah. Now, what if something had been seen in the defense when they lined up on 4th down? Is that a timeout call or is there a contingency?
So they'll yell red, and red means we had something on. We're kicking it.
And sometimes you might call red even when you don't have something on, because then the other team might think that, okay, they're going to try to do something to us too, or whatever, that kind of deal.
But my hunch is that they saw that in film multiple times, and that was what you would call 100%er. Every single time they line up this way, it's on.
All right. Looks like I'm getting something from the stadium, and so hopefully in a moment or two we can get to the post-game comments, and we need to take another break anyhow. We'd love to have you join with us, though, with your texts at 339-0321, or you can use the phone number, again, which is 753-5868, 753-KVNU. Campbell Scientific is now hiring. You can visit them at job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific, equal opportunity employer, making the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Again, we appreciate Thermo Fisher Scientific for joining with us as a game day sponsor on The Fan and KVNU, and we will be right back.
Clean it up and get it out before the snow flies. Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
It's game time, and you're in the locker room ready to take the field. But suddenly, you notice a player you don't recognize. He's wearing your team's jersey, and he even knows your name. But you've never seen him before now. Would you trust this stranger with your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing scams work. And the first quarter of 2022 saw the highest volume of phishing attacks ever recorded. Protect your business with the Les Olson Security Suite from Les Olson IT. Learn more at lesolson.com.
You've been putting up with a dirty, dusty wood stove for years. Why haven't you changed it? Go to Advanced Fireplace and Stove in Logan. Look through their showroom for ideas on Quadra-Fire pellet and wood stoves and Heat and Glow gas fireplaces. They have several demos in place so you can see firsthand how your project will look. And you can trust the pros at Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They'll do the job right. Advanced Fireplace and Stove. 752-7272. Online at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
This is Dr. Red, chiropractic physician with Red River Health and Wellness. Are you suffering with fatigue, brain fog, headaches, intestinal issues, weight gain, and you haven't been able to find any answers?
I was struggling with constantly being hot, struggling with not sleeping, being able to fall asleep, stay asleep, or even wake up the next morning. I had very high levels of inflammation and memory loss. Memory loss was the scariest part.
Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
The sleep improved, my memory's coming back. Every time I remember something, I still get really excited. I go walking every morning now, which I've never done before. I've always really wanted to be that type of person that wakes up early enough to enjoy the sunrise. I get to do that every morning now.
Our goal is to teach you and educate you so you know how to manage your condition a lot more effectively and you know what to do and what not to do for the rest of your life.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan.
KVNU Game Day returns with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, Eric Frenson, and Ryan Bowen.
Aggies win 27-10. Do get the record to 4-5. Still stay in the possibility of a winning season. Still stay towards bowl consideration. A win here, you couldn't drop a game to New Mexico. Under the circumstances, that would have probably ended your season because the conference only has 5 bowl tie-ins. Now, these days, anybody who usually is bowl eligible gets in somewhere. Like usually there's some conference somewhere or some tie-in that doesn't work. But you got to get to 6 wins at least to have that. And the Aggies keep that alive. Now, Hawaii is coming up next week, another team that's been struggling. And then you play the 2 teams that might end up playing for the championship in this conference, Boise State and San Jose State, one of them at home, one on the road. I noticed BYU got off to a 7-0 lead in their game against Boise State early as they're just getting started. That's on FS1 TV today. Aggies won 27-10. And it's great to have DJ Nelson and John Pappas, along with John Russell. John and I, we start basketball on Monday night, John.
Monday night. I'm ready for it. It's going to be exciting.
Aggies and Utah Valley. And we'll have game day with Jalen Moore before the game here on KVNU. And then we'll be on immediately after the game. And we've got, the stuff came from the stadium, but there's nothing in it. It's an empty file that they sent me. So I'm hoping I'm getting a hold of the guy, or I've got the word out somewhere along the way for somebody to get the word to him that we need the file resent to us so we can hear from players and coaches. We got anything else?
Yeah,
in
we got
text
one
lines?
more text from 5338. No turnovers is a good accomplishment considering the conditions. However, penalties are going the wrong direction. We haven't talked about that. 12 penalties tonight for 113 yards. And there were some that were costly. There were some that hurt us.
There was.
At this point in the season, DJ, John, what does the coaching staff got to do? I mean, you should be playing a little cleaner than this.
You know, it's the opponent you play because they were pretty aggressive, and you don't back off, and so a lot of times you get caught. You know, sometimes you don't. But I think New Mexico's aggressiveness, I think DJ would agree with me, you have to respond because you don't want to be intimidated.
Yeah, you can't get bullied. So, I mean, and like we talked about, that one on Sturzer, unfortunately, you can't punch, you know, and that's on him. But at the same time, you know, if your guy's going at your teammate's face mask, you got to let him know that that's not going to stand. But I don't know how many were like operational penalties. Like I'd be curious to see. I didn't see many holdings. I mean, there were a couple on some like scrambles. It didn't feel. weird enough, me being at the game, it didn't feel like we had 12.
Didn't feel like it?
No.
Just watching it, I felt like it watching it.
So that must have been like a TV thing.
Yeah, well, we were watching, Alan, and one of the things towards the end, one of the last drives, there were 2 straight offsides.
We did give them a chance at the end of the game to finally get something going because we get the personal foul after we make a sack, and then we get a pass interference call. And I don't know. I thought pass interference is supposed to be catchable balls and something like that, and it's not even close to that.
Yeah. So watching that, the ball was well out of bounds. The problem was as the ball's in the air, if you're not seeking for the ball as a defender and you're actively
just
working
shoving the
into
guy.
him, with extended arms, I think they will get that call, whether that's letter of the law or the actual rule. But I saw it as like you were a little too aggressive, whether it was catchable or not.
Okay.
So, again, beating this point, though, 2 offsides there or false starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here we are deep into the season. That's got to drive the coaching staff nuts.
So this late in the year and having watched, right, even though it seems like we are, you should have things together, we've kind of been a revolving door in some spots. Like Vaughn's hasn't been playing very consistently. The quarterback room hasn't been very consistent.
Linebacker room wasn't consistent at all with AJ, with MJ not being able to play.
And we've had kind of a few we've had to mix and match our starting 5 up front, right? So like there's a lot of moving parts to that. So yeah, we would all love a penalty, 4 or 5 penalties a game and a few of them just being offsides, but at the same time we have had to deal with adversity from outside sources and injuries. So again, a win is a win. You would certainly like to clean things up, and no one knows that more than the staff and the players.
Yeah, I think Coach Anderson explained that pretty well pre-game on how many new kids and how many freshmen, and that's a learning curve, and those kids want to play hard, and sometimes they get a little too aggressive. But, this group, you look at it and say a win is a win, and that's the most important thing right now, and he can build off that with a lot of new players.
3 and 5 is not the time to try to be perfect. It is a time to tell them to go celebrate, and then we got one more to tune up, and then let's go make something happen with those 2 top dogs.
Okay, so now it looks like we got something here. Let's see. I don't know if I can get this or not. No, it looks like
well, you're working that again.
I got real troubles trying to get stuff from the stadium from my man up there, and I wish that we thought we had this taken care of a while ago on the season. We have not. We're way too late in the season to have this keep going on.
We'll blame it on the weather, maybe.
He's underwater.
Any concerns? Another 100-yard runner for your opponent?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so the other thing about New Mexico that makes them difficult to prepare for is they're running an extended triple option a lot of the time. Like it's almost like this pistol type of thing. So if you noticed, right, they were leaving us with hat-on-hat boxes or where we're losing a little bit of gap integrity because there's so much action going out. So it's kind of like pick your poison, right? Would you rather get hit hard up front, like, 7 or 8 yards on like a midline type play or a hard-hitting, downhill run? Or would you rather give up the edge and now they have option and numbers out there, right? So I am less concerned, having played New Mexico multiple times and especially in this current staff and how they do things, less concerned about the 100-yard rush because they only had 48 yards passing. So now if they had 100 yards rushing with 280 or something like that in the air, then you got to start to think, right? But where they're a ground attack and they're very misdirection heavy, let's just thank the heavens that it's not 380 on the ground.
Yeah, John, I mean, you can look at it as a defensive coordinator. Do you sit and read or do you attack? And those 2 things you have to make a decision on, and a lot of it is down in distance. But New Mexico, because they run the ball so well inside, your outside guys probably get up the field too much. And that's what happened on those long runs. They got up the field and got too aggressive. So in the second half, my feeling was he sat back a little bit and was reading a little bit more. And I think that then, helped Utah State's defense.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the stands, and you hear the people in the stands like, well, where's our safety help? Blah, blah, blah. Well, our safety help is running with the pitch guy, right? Like, because they have a pitch guy out there. So
they can't come up.
Yeah, so you can't do that because they'll play off of you and make you wrong. So the answer that we had, obviously, like you said, John, was to back off. If they throw it out, we'll rally and tackle for 6, but let's focus on not, getting gashed.
Right.
Al's still typing away. Another text here. This one's for you, John. And I don't want. Remember, don't shoot the messenger. They want you to name your offensive line from 1968.
Oh, I bet you can.
Man.
Can you, John?
68.
Wow. I can name Doug Gosnell. I can name Ted. I forgot. That's terrible. I forgot Ted's last name.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head as a kid if I can remember Ted's name.
But that's a tough one. Were you? I wonder if the caller is one of my offensive linemen.
From 2305, whoever that is.
That's his phone number in your book.
We all know who you are now.
So, but again, that's interesting to think about.
I'm going to defend John. That's unfair. Oh. That's unfair, guys. Come on.
That was only 55 years ago.
Do you remember your center?
Well, Sid Lane was my center my junior year.
Okay, that's MacArthur's brother.
MacArthur's brother, and Ted was a cowboy. Actually rode, and very tough. Wasn't a big kid, maybe 180 pounds, but I'll tell you, he could block anybody. Very, very good.
Homecoming, I saw Sid, and he was chatting with my dad, so yeah, it was great to see.
Sid's a good man.
Yeah.
Many times had a chance to talk to him and his brother, too, as well.
Wayne Lamb is another one.
Wayne Lamb, yeah, remember him.
Coming a little bit.
Guys, also, you got to understand, quarterbacks weren't protected like that, right? Like, I mean, there's roughing the passer left and right now. If you put your head down wrong or look at him wrong, you're getting a flag. He had to deal with the brunt of all of it, so.
I think we got something from the stadium. I think I maybe can get that going. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back and try to get it going. Again, the stadium talked with the coach and the players after the game. Again, we've got two former players, and DJ Nelson and John Pappas here, and very technically inept Al Lewis trying to figure this out. But again, it's usually a straightforward deal, and John Russell is joining with us as well on our postgame Aggie calls. 27-10, Aggies with the win, and we'll be right back with that after this. When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient, not the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Thermo Fisher Scientific is hiring for their manufacturing, distribution, and warehouse team. And that's great news for anyone seeking a rewarding career. Thermo Fisher offers positions across multiple shifts, competitive compensation, health benefits, paid time off, bonuses, and an excellent work environment. Help Thermo Fisher make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Visit job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific is an equal opportunity employer.
It's engagement season. Time to find the perfect ring. S.E. Needham Jewelers is known for beautifully cut diamonds at excellent prices. Guys, the sparkle is what matters most in the diamond you give your sweetheart. Our diamonds stand apart from those of other stores. Come view our diamonds under magnification. Select a diamond that fits your budget and then have it mounted in a ring that she'll love. Remember, you get S.E. Needham quality at internet pricing. Open Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
This is Chris from the Cater Shop Menswear Store. We believe how you look is the first message you deliver. This also includes our floors at the store. Daryl at Chem Drive Northern Utah and his team came in after hours, cleaned the entire store, and had it ready to go before we opened the next day. I trust Daryl and his team from Chem Drive Northern Utah.
Chem Drive of Northern Utah. Chem Drive of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by White Pine Funeral Home on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Thank you for joining with us, everybody. Again, it's post-game Aggie call on The Fan, Sports Talk Radio, The Fan, and also on 610 KVNU, also 102.1, 102.5 FM, your local place where you get to talk and interact. We've had our phone lines have been available at 753 KVNU. We have the text line available at 339-0321. We're going to play now what came to us from the stadium after with the coach and players. And we will play at least the coach, and then we'll have the guys, DJ Nelson, John Pappas, who are filling in with John Russell and myself today on our post-game Aggie call, react to what the coach had to say. So here is Blake Anderson from the stadium.
What a win. What a win. Do what you got to. Fake punt, fake field goal, whatever bullet you got. Just with the weather like it was going to be today, with as many guys out, as many young guys playing, we felt like we needed every possible opportunity to try to steal a possession here or there, and turned out is what we needed. So really proud of the guys. A lot of ugly nature of the kind of game it was going to be, but made plays that we had to win it, and overcame tough day. So really proud. That gets us one step closer where we want to be. So hopefully we can build on it and get some guys back and get some guys healthy and move forward and travel well to Hawaii this week. What questions you got?
Does Nick Poremski get his bonus this week or used to?
There's a lot of people involved in that. Nick, Bobby Dodd, everybody coaches over there. So we put a lot of pride in special teams, always have, and just felt like we had some strategic things that would be beneficial today. And you call them and they work, you're a hero. You call them, they don't. Everybody's going to think you're an idiot. And I just felt like they were necessary at the time. I thought they were well designed and well executed. So Nick, Bobby, all the guys that coach on special teams, everybody did a great job. And the kids, they did exactly what we asked them to do in those situations. And then great effort play on the punt to flip the field like we were doing, and then to get the turnover. That came at a big time, I thought. So.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about JP Nance. It seems like he's done that a couple times now. What have you seen from him?
He's got unbelievable speed. That's why he's out there at that particular position. He takes a lot of pride in that. He loves that role and has been impactful. He and Jaden Smith and Xavion Steele, they take a lot of pride in getting down and eliminating returns, but also the ability to get a turnover. We had one against Wyoming, get another one here. Think back to the championship game last year, a big turnover created by just the pressure that they created. Jamie's speed is elite speed. It's the best thing he brings to the table, that along with just great effort. And he's made some mistakes along the way out there at times with some early contact. He's gotten better and better. I thought he was right where he needed to be, and couldn't have come at a better time to me in terms of how the game was going.
Was Stephen Constantly's run on a punt a called play?
Yeah, it was a design play. We saw an opportunity based off of something that we caught on film, and felt like that the way we would execute it would kind of attack what they do, and it just so happens that everybody did exactly what they're supposed to. Don't know how much more yards we could have gotten. We got just enough. It was really just another opportunity, especially with the wind like it was, to steal a possession. We were in the wind at the time and didn't really want to miss that opportunity. So we didn't get I don't think we got points out of that drive, but we definitely were able to extend the drive, run the clock, and change field position.
Coach Anderson, it was always going to be a struggle offensively today with the weather, but bottom line, you didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
You won turnover margin against those guys, which is
it was hard to do.
That's one of their strengths, clearly. So how big of a deal was it to at least to not make any game-changing mistakes today?
Yeah, I love the fact that you found the one positive in our offensive performance today.
I don't know about that.
You'd love to. I felt like last year the weather didn't play a factor. We were able to play out in space a little bit better than we were today. It's extremely hard to run the ball against Rocky and Danny's defense, and it proved to be today. The weather didn't cooperate for us to throw and catch very well. I felt like that they did a good job of keeping Coop kind of confused a little bit. There were times that I think he was struggling with all the movement. Not turning the ball over is a huge step today, because if you give them a short field along the way, you may not finish this one the way we did. So that in itself, putting the special teams on the field, punting the ball, flipping the field in a day like today, you can't take that for granted. And we did that better than they did in terms of the kicking game. We definitely won that area of the field, and we're gonna go back and watch tape. Be really frustrated with a lot of stuff offensively, I think, but that's the nature of what they do. They're really good at it.
You kind of talked about this just now. I'm curious. The first half, obviously, on offense was not great for you.
I thought they were both pretty bad, but I think it's a little everything. I think some of it is weather, some of it is just bad execution, some of it is their defense is they are very good at what they do. It is built to get you off schedule, keep you behind the chains, confuse and frustrate you. That's the first time Coop's really seen that from that vantage point. You could see where he was frustrated all day. We just didn't break anything open like we needed to gain rhythm and create tempo. Some of that weather was dictating what we could and couldn't do, but just some of it was just pure execution and good plays on their part by their defense. I mean, who knows what that defense is going to look like if those guys all grow up. Ton of young guys playing, and I think they're playing defense at a really high level.
Coach, with the
Well, I guess we got the essence of what the coach had to say. The file now decided to stop and all, but we got some. Okay, couple of points that he made, and I got to ask you, DJ, because I know special teams is a big part of yours, and special teams win this game. He's talking about Nick Peremski, who's the defense or the coordinator of the special teams. But Jamie Nance playing on special teams. The pride that you took.
Yeah.
Because you were a special teams guy who did go down the field and make plays, and then we were talking about your touchdown run earlier off a holding and things. There is a lot of pride when you get a chance to go out and do that, and look at how special those plays really are in special teams.
Yeah, it's a third of the game when you think about it. It maps out to be about a third of the game, and special teams for if we're talking about like Alabama and Georgia and things like that, those are the teams where you got guys who are kind of like waiting in the wings and they maybe don't have the berserker types on special teams, because that doesn't really matter at that level. It's all about what happens between offense and defense. But in this conference, in a program like Utah State that's very much developmental, that is how you carve out a niche and ultimately find your way onto the field, right? So the motivation both comes from a player perspective of a guy who cares enough and loves the game enough to go out and play, but also give some credit to the staff for instilling that belief in themselves and also scheming up things that allows players to go to their strength and play and use their strength out there on special teams. Like Coach mentioned, the speed that they have with gunners and the power that we have in the kicking game. So my special teams coach, Coach Tomerdahl, was one of those guys, super motivating. Everyone looked up to him, and I can only imagine it's how do you say his name?
Nick Peremski.
Peremski, excuse me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Peremski, I'm sure, they revere him and look up to him as well.
And John, he talks about Cooper hadn't seen things. In the end of the day, Legault, with all the sacks, ended up with 14 yards rushing, besides throwing 13 of 27, 149 yards, and that's not great. He said, we can't run the ball against him. Briggs had 82 yards, John Pappas, in the second half running the ball.
What impressed me was he protected the ball, and when he went back to pass and saw nobody, he didn't force it. Okay, so he runs and gets maybe 2 yards. That's positive. And so that's really important for a quarterback to keep moving the ball downfield. But I think, once again, his decision-making on not to force the ball into coverage also helped the plays to move and not turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm. I want to jump on that comment because that was something that jumped out that Coach said. This is the first time that the Legault's seen these situations.
Well, Rocky's supposedly this guru and does things that a lot of other people don't do.
So as a quarterback, as a coach, what are you doing with your quarterback? Saying, okay, you saw this, you're going to play another defense next week that's totally different. We saw with Davenport, he had a very limited playbook because he really hadn't been getting practice snaps. But Legault, kind of the guy. What do you do as a coach now with him to prepare him for a different offense or a different defense next week?
There's a lot of film study that goes into this, and that's number one. He has to be familiar with what the team is doing. But also, I want to try to look at the other side of this. His receivers also have to understand what's going on in the secondary, because if they don't recognize what the coverage is, then that's going to be very hard to separate or to find an open hole. And I think DJ can probably look at that from a perspective of, I have a receiver that really understands this, and quarterbacks say, why do you throw to this guy all the time? Well, he understands, and we're on the same page. You hear that a lot, but that's very true.
No, it is. And the other thing that I would add to that, and John, you'd probably agree, the worst thing that you could possibly do right now is throw or overcoach Cooper right now. He kind of got there. They did a great job of mixing things up, and there's maybe even a level of confusion out there at times as he's dropping back. There's no need to hit the panic button and be like, oh, well, we got to eliminate that against Hawaii, because you got to give them credit. Those guys they have scholarships and they can win games too, right? But to John's point, the level of familiarity that he has with his guys, and again, how many games has Cooper played now? 4?
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
And we're judging off of Bonner, who has started 28 plus, right, over his career, and he was most successful with a guy who started 20 games with him last year in bowling. So huge difference, massive difference, right, that we're talking about right now. So any step is a good step when we're talking about building a relationship with a receiver. And I think the positive that you can take away from the offense was we started to see a little bit of a connection between two younger players right now, and one guy in the slot, which we know in this offense is where the money is made.
Okay. John, anything else in the text line?
Sorry, I've been mesmerized.
You've been mesmerized by listening to these guys talking great football.
No, just last comment here from 93-15. Love that we played to win and not lose. Yeah. Would you all agree with that?
Oh, yes, yeah.
100%.
When we had to make those plays that we had to make today on special teams, they're playing to win and not punt the ball and play conservative and all that kind of stuff all the way along. That's absolutely right. So 27-10 the final. We'll be back and we'll try to figure out more from the stadium in just a moment. This is Game Day on The Fan and KVNU. And it's brought to you in part by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat. That new clinic location is on, again, that North Logan, 2245 North 4th East location to go along with the Gateway Drive in Providence of Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat.
Alpine Home Medical has been around for over 25 years. Can you believe that? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. What keeps us coming to work every day? We're passionate about caring for you. From home and bathroom safety to transportation, mobility, recovery, oxygen, sleep, and more, come into any of our 10 locations today and let us take care of you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
The Elements Restaurant is serving a plated Thanksgiving dinner this year with all the holiday classics. Herb roasted turkey with a sage turkey gravy, garlic whipped potatoes and whipped sweet potatoes, traditional cornbread stuffing, and delicious warm rolls. And for dessert, choose between pumpkin pie, pecan pie, or apple galette. Let the Elements serve your family a delicious Thanksgiving feast while you spend the day enjoying family and friends. Prime times fill up quickly. Reserve online today at theelementsrestaurant.com or call 750-5171.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. We've teamed up with Ridgeline High School Booster Club to bring you the Mattress Warehouse Sale of the Year. November 11th and 12th at Ridgeline High School. My Mattress, Maloof, and Serenoni will have truckloads of mattresses, mattress protectors, sheets, pillows, accessories, Serenoni blankets, and more at blowout, rock-bottom prices. Don't miss this chance for blowout pricing from My Mattress, Maloof, and Serenoni. November 11th and 12th at the Ridgeline High School Mattress Warehouse Sale.
This is Chris from the Cater Shop Menswear Store. We believe how you look is the first message you deliver. This also includes our floors at the store. Daryl at Chem Drive Northern Utah and his team came in after hours, cleaned the entire store, and had it ready to go before we opened the next day. I trust Daryl and his team from Chem Drive Northern Utah.
Chem Drive of Northern Utah. Chem Drive Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
We're heading into some crazy weather this winter, which means power outages. Tyler and his team at Golden Spike Electric can install a Generac automatic standby generator for your home so you can avoid issues when the power goes out. If you have one already, Golden Spike Electric can maintain your Generac automatic standby generator for you. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac automatic standby generators. Power you can count on.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by Young Truck and Trailer on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Hey, we're back on our post-game game day for you, and again, we've had all kinds of things trying to get this file to work from the stadium. I think I've got it working again here with the coach, and I think he gets into talking about some of these young players and a few other things that we haven't touched on. So our post-game coverage continues of the Aggies' 27-10 win, and we'll get DJ and John Russell to talk about this after. Remember, this part brought to you by Young Trailer and Truck Center. Remember, the Truck and Trailer Center is on the Highway 89, all makes of trailers and flatbed work trucks. Let's go back to the coach.
That kid is getting better every snap. He is, how can I say this without making it sound like it's not a compliment? He's just oblivious to the moment. It just
I think he is talking about Ike Larson right here, the Aggies fresh first segment.
He's out there in the middle of a college game with pressure. I mean, he just loves to play, and it's like he's out in the backyard playing ball. And I think it's a good thing for him. That's why he's not afraid to go back and block a punt. It's why he's not afraid to be in one-on-one coverage when, he doesn't have any help over the top. He just loves to play, very competitive and very poised and calm in the environment. Maybe because he just hadn't been there before. I don't know, but whatever it is, he's been really a big, pleasant surprise for us all year.
Think of the ball security from your kicker on that touchdown.
I didn't watch the play. I didn't.
It was good. He held off.
Good, great. I just know they raised their hands and people cheered. Called it, and then I turned around and started walking the other way. And luckily, we ran it in practice the other day from a little bit further out, and he had to stop and take a break between there and the end zone. So he doesn't run a whole lot. Luckily, we were just far enough that nobody could catch him. Well executed, well-designed play. Coach P and Coach Dodd brought that one to me last Sunday, and we watched a lot of tape and felt good about it. We executed it well in practice all week, and I thought the kids, executed it perfectly on the field. So I'll be looking forward to watching it on tape because I really didn't see it happen.
Coach Anderson, what's Calvin Tyler's status?
Calvin had concussion symptoms enough that we held him, and so we'll just have to see if he is diagnosed with a concussion and goes into protocol, or if it was just a very cautious approach to not throwing him back out there. So we'll see where that goes.
Coach, the defense, the first half, they were giving up, I glanced at it, was like 6 yards per run, and then the second half, they only give up 79 total yards.
Yeah.
What happened? Do you think there was an improvement of physicality, or what was the big change there?
I think we didn't tackle particularly well in the first half. A lot of times that we were there and couldn't get the guy on the ground. Struggled a little bit with a mobile quarterback. I think both Max and Sione were kind of a little over-aggressive and overrunning some things that could have fitted a little differently. We went in at halftime and just talked. We didn't change a whole lot, to be truthful. Really just kind of calmed them down and reminded them of technique that we've talked about all week. And then we played much better in the second half. Coach Bandon may have got to a few different calls, but we didn't change much. We just kind of settled down and played the technique we're taught. And you're going to get some of those mistakes coming to young guys that haven't played very much. Anything else? Appreciate it.
So there's the coach, and he did, I think, touch on things that you wanted to talk about, DJ, as far as Ike Larson, and then he talked about the fake punt, or the fake field goal, and then we got the Calvin Tyler. I think we got the answer to the people who wanted to know about his status. It was some kind of concussion, which when you said he's walking out without his helmet, that's usually what ends up happening there.
Yeah, absolutely, and we hope he'll bounce back.
Too many of those
have to go in
this year
in the protocol, right? But no, I have Coach's answer for why Ike maybe seems oblivious to the moment. So his oldest brother played on my little league teams, and Ike would come to our practices and just run around, and just play, and we would let him come into drills and stuff. So from a very young age, he has been fearless out there. So and that's my fellow Logan High, even though he went to Skyview for 1 year, but fellow Logan High alum, and I'm super proud of him in the way that he's carried himself. And I said during the break, I think he'll usher in the new age of that youth that we're talking about. They'll look to him as a leader from here on out, and he's going to be a great every down player for us.
John, you couldn't play when you were a freshman. He's a freshman.
Correct.
In fact, you told me the coach said when you were practicing as a freshman, don't throw the ball so well because you were too good as a freshman compared to some of the other guys.
Yeah, we had a terrific. It's a redshirt freshman team that we had to go against the 1965 team that was like 9-2. Great team. And my center was Willie Dersch, and his brother, the teacher at Logan High. Yeah. And we were real proud of going out there and giving it us all, but we got beat up.
Eventually beat up, but when you throw the ball, they were kind of saying, "Hey, maybe we don't have a quarterback that's quite like that throwing it as a."
Yeah, back then, we had Roy Shivers, so they didn't throw a lot. So when they had a team that threw, I was able to do that on the scout team, and they said, kind of stop throwing it downfield. We're not going to see that. It was fun to do.
Roy Shivers, I told John, most exciting Aggie football player I've ever seen. In my years. Now, when I saw him, he's 11 and 12, and so I'm really, maybe as a young kid, really impressed at that age. But he's the most exciting football player I've ever seen play for Utah State. So the one game against New Mexico State, I think he carried it 6 times for like 190 yards and 4 touchdowns or something.
Wow.
They pitch him out to him and he just turned the corner and we beat him 76-0.
And if you remember, Al, he was a great returner in punts as well. So he did a lot of things for Utah State.
He ran, when he hurt his knee, he ran the 100 supposedly in under 20 seconds on crutches.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
It's a Bo Jackson story.
There you go.
So something about that age 11 and 12 as a local boy, because mine would be Kevin Curtis.
Yeah,
and that was about the same age as me. So
Kevin made terrific plays, and then I'm sure the kids growing up right now with Tompkins last year. Because, he was absolutely magical for Utah State. He's among the great ones, too.
Yeah, you just throw the ball downfield and he'll be there.
And you had guys that you threw the ball to.
Yeah, Mike O'Shea was the first 1,000-yard receiver Utah State had.
Yep. Awesome. KVNU and the Fan on game day. We'll have one more segment with these guys when we return right after we take this break.
News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
You have to see it to believe it. The new Three Peaks Medical Plaza is Cache Valley's newest and most up-to-date medical facility. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center are now located in the Three Peaks Medical Plaza in North Logan. The entire staff and Drs. Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette look forward to helping you and your family at this state-of-the-art medical facility. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is now located in Providence and Three Peaks Medical Plaza, 2245 North 400 East in North Logan. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
Has inflation got you down? This is Zach with HSA Depot. Did you know you can save money by using your pre-tax income to buy qualifying medical supplies? Health savings and flex spending accounts can be used for more than just doctor visits and prescriptions. HSA Depot helps you conquer your health care by providing HSA and FSA eligible products, taking the guesswork out of the process. Come to HSA Depot next to Sally Beauty and see how much you can save. HSA Depot, 5-star review.
Advanced Heating and AC, the 2-time gold medal winner in Best in Northern Utah. They're teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you the best furnace units available, and now's the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, 752-7272, or stop by their showroom west of DI and online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
For over 20 years, Aegis Home Health and Hospice has been providing health care to Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. Whatever or wherever your health care needs, Aegis' goal is to meet those needs. Aegis Home Health and Hospice core values are character, experience, and trust. Aegis, AEGIS, striving to provide the health care services you need. Aegis Home Health and Hospice. Call 723-9000 or find them at myaegis.com.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We are humbled by and grateful for the tremendous support we have been shown since opening our doors nearly 2 years ago. So we just want to say thank you. On behalf of everyone at White Pine, first and foremost, thank you for allowing us the honor and privilege of serving you and caring for your loved ones. Additionally, thank you for voting White Pine the best mortuary in Cache Valley in both 2021 and 2022.
White Pine Funeral Services. Here when you need us most.
Prodigy Brewing has so much appreciation and gratitude for the warm embrace Cache Valley has given us. We want to invite you to join us for Sunday brunch from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our Sunday-only brunch menu features sweet and savory options such as churro French toast, chilaquiles, fried chicken egg sandwich, and a Bloody Mary bar. You also won't want to miss our hash browns. Whether you're out with the family or friends, Prodigy Brewing is the place to be in Cache Valley. Open 7 days a week, located at 25 West Center Street in beautiful downtown Logan.
More analysis about today's game and your chance to talk about it. Call 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU. KVNU Game Day is back.
And we are brought to you by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. Remember, keep your eyes open. That fireplace change-out program is on 752-7272 to find out more about getting rid of that dirty, dingy wood stove. And you can do that with the help of Advanced Fireplace and Stove. Aggies with the win by 27-10 over New Mexico. New Mexico has now lost 9 consecutive conference games since they last won. Boise State BYU are 7-7 in the second quarter. San Diego State leads UNLV 7-0 in the second quarter. You said, John, Utah's already scored on Arizona?
Yeah, they're up 7.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. 7-zip, about 9 minutes left in the first.
All right, we got Connor Coles, and then I believe there's another player, and then we'll have these guys make a few comments about it. But if you'd like to make comments about what you're hearing from players, asking DJ Nelson or John Pappas questions, our special guests on a good edition of Postgame Aggie Call after the Aggies win 27-10. Our text is 339-0321, or our phone number is 753-KVNU.
Connor, how long have you been asking for them to let you do that?
Man, I never even asked. I didn't think it was in the cards. I always thought if I was going to get a touchdown, I'd have to get like a strip on kickoff cover or something. But yeah, when Coach told me that we were installing it that week and I was the guy who was running it in, I was a little bit surprised, but super excited. Yeah, so I'm really glad for the opportunity.
How confident were you that play call would work?
Well, it was working really well against like all week in practice, and so I was asking the hole's not going to be that big. I actually asked my special teams coordinator the hole's not going to be that big on game day, right? He said, no, I think it is. And Calvin Knapp and Alfred Edwards, I wish I could share the points with them because they made it really easy for me. They opened up a massive hole, and I just caught the pitch and looked up, and the end zone was there, so I just had to walk it in. And so, yeah, really grateful for Alfred and Calvin and Primsky. The whole play design was really nice.
So was it more nerve-wracking for you, right before that play, than maybe some of your other field goals?
Yeah, it was just a different feeling. Field goals, once I get back there, it's something I'm really comfortable with. I've been doing for a lot of years, lots of reps, and so I kind of fall back into my training. And with that, I was feeling a little bit like, okay, well, I've been running it through practice, but I haven't practiced getting hit or anything like that. So I was a little bit nervous about how it was going to work out, but I had a lot of confidence in Calvin and Alfred, and so yeah, I wasn't too worried.
Well, it's going to do it again. It looks like it's going to freeze up on me. But I think we heard the essence of what Connor Coles had to say there. He scored, 15 points?
Wow.
Out of the 27, right, today?
Awesome. MVP. I think him and the punter will share it.
Yeah, I think so. And then Hunter Reynolds got 1 touchdown, and Terrell Vaughn got the other touchdown. The other 2 6 points in the game. That's the way it worked out for these guys today.
Just like the effort, often special teams kind of, they only get a bad bad press if they miss a field goal or have a blocked punt or what have you. And good to see them get some good credit, especially today when it was needed.
So, again, what is the feeling, DJ? You were on a few teams that maybe if you don't quite have a chance for the championship, now you have to play for a winning season. Yeah. And again, we didn't even think about that until Gary Anderson came back and changed our football program at Utah State, and you've been alive long enough to have experienced and been around Logan to feel that. Now we are playing for something because of now, if we're not a bowl team, we feel like we haven't maybe accomplished something. This team now needs to win at least 1 more, but boy, it would certainly help to win 2 more, at least.
Oh, I think you change it to we need to win 2 more. Okay. Right, like you move on to like let's get bowl eligible. At this point in the season, you feel for those that maybe can't participate like they had. Mm-hmm. The injuries that you've had to struggle through, but also you hang your hat on the fact that you've battled and put yourself back in this position, so make it worthwhile. And I've been a part of a few teams that happened that way. In the middle of my career, we finished both seasons 6-6. Both seasons with some revolving door type of injuries that happened throughout the year.
Which have happened this year.
Which is very similar. So you approach every practice at this point like that bowl game that you're trying to get to is your championship. And you do that for both the future of the program and then the pride that you have for this team, the 2022 team.
I apologize that my math was off. I was thinking we were at 5 wins now, needing 1 more. We do need 2 more. Yeah. We do need the 2. So, and then Boise State at the end. How sweet it could be.
Oh, my gosh.
After all the stuff we've been through and only beating them once.
If anything for me, there's one, I know we get caught up in the in-state rivalries and things like that, but that is my true rival right there, and I got to get them somehow. So, and I didn't get enough cracks. Obviously, I went 1 for 5.
Yeah. So, John,
it's kind of interesting because in 1967 and 68 we went 7-2, 7-3, and there were probably less than 10 bowls available.
Yeah.
So very, very difficult. Utah State's 1961 team, undefeated, and they get a Gotham Bowl.
We got Gotham the second year. The first year we had Sun Bowl of the 2 really good football teams there.
Yeah, and I'd say it wasn't available. So, getting a bowl bid, that's what you play for here, or a championship. But, Utah State, this is a great win because it gets an opportunity now to finish the season the way they wanted to and to go to a bowl. And I think for the kids right now and all the kids they had to play, it would be a great accomplishment.
Imagine the wealth of experience you get with the young core that we have right now going to a bowl game.
Getting another week or 10 days of practice and all of that, too.
You get an extra 15 days of practice. That's your second version of spring ball, right? It's obviously, the seniors maybe had their eyes on a championship, but then, again, they're playing for the pride of a bowl game, in a bowl game championship, obviously that they call them now. But the wealth of experience that we would gain from a bowl game is immeasurable.
And this, to be honest, DJ, you were around a lot. This conference this year has been probably, I'll say it this way, I think it's the weakest I've seen the overall Mountain West be in all the years we've been in it, really, to be honest.
Totally agree. It's so hard to get a read because it's like, well, you watch someone one night and it's like, they aren't very good. And then you watch them against the very next team the next week and they're, it's a 28-point blowout or something like that, right? So it does make you feel a little bit, and I think that's why expectations were so high coming into this year, it was kind of like, all right, well, we kind of ran the table last year, and nobody's really coming back stronger. And by all intents and purposes, we are the strongest coming back. But things don't always work out that way. And with this, looking for these last 3 games, right? You got Hawaii, which is a challenge because of the travel, and that can't be overlooked. So the travel needs to go smoothly.
Weird stadium. They only have about 8,000 or 9,000 that can get in this small place they're playing over there in Hawaii now.
So that is not an overlook by any means. And then you focus all your energy on making noise in the last 2 weeks, right? Whether it's, you may not be invited to the dance, but you can certainly throw water balloons at everyone walking in, honestly. And that's kind of where the attitude that I approach, that I would do for these guys, and just look at it like, man, we're trying to build something here long term, and so let's start right now.
John, I failed to mention, too, you also coached at Utah State besides played.
Yes.
Your years you coached?
84 and 85.
When Chris Pella was the coach?
Chris Pella.
Okay,
correct.
You were back in the coaching thing, and you got into coaching for a while, and then now you've retired to be a professional amateur golfer.
Yeah, I belong to the U.S. Amateur Tour nationwide. At 77, I feel very fortunate to be able to do that.
Have you won it all in that? You've been close.
I have been Player of the Year now 3 times in a row in Las Vegas. Wow. Nationally, I've taken a 5th and a 10th. So
how about that?
And in my flight at nationals, there's over 100 people in our flight. So anyway, I've been blessed. So may it continue.
And I sent John a text today, and I said, "Now it's a long time we're down here. John, remember you could bring food." He didn't. He's a great cook, and he didn't cook anything.
I didn't get the message, and I wanted something.
I just said about the food, and
I would have sent you a text too. Throw some money in for you to bring some.
No, John, for a long, long time, and watched him as a kid. Back, I was watching Shivers and Pappas and all these guys when I was a kid,
awesome.
And so it means so much to me. And before the game, I played. Craig had an interview with a guy from the New Mexico team, who all grew up with New Mexico. His dad went to New Mexico. His dad played there. He played there. DJ, you've had other than Riley leaving, the Nelsons have been Utah State. I mean, it means so much to you what this team does before you were there and after you're there and while you're there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the Nelson Fieldhouse is my great-grandpa, and that's where it started. And then even when he was an athletic trainer, on the other side of that, my grandmother's father was the quarterback of that coach. So there's 2 lineages or 2 lines of my family tree right there on that team that is from
Grandpa was AD
20s.
and
then obviously,
basketball coach.
Rod Tuller was your radio counterpart as well, and I've a myriad of uncles and cousins that have been around. So if anything, I want to see and just I love the fact that we play with effort and we play hard, because when I was growing up, there was that pride, the sense of pride for being an Aggie, but at the same time, these games in November, it's, we're fighting to get 3 wins. So now to even be talking about this consistently for 12 years of fighting for a bowl game and going up to Boise and having an opportunity to ruin their season or ruin the fun for them, like that to me is what I want out of Aggie football and what I've always yearned for, and I'm just tickled to be able to be a part of in any way.
Unfortunately enough for John Pappas, a guy, Tony Knapp in your area knew enough about you, or at least had some ideas of some of you and your coaches or whatever, that got the word that you became an Aggie too.
Yeah, Tony Knapp was out of Pittsburgh High School. In fact, I played for Pittsburgh High School.
Pittsburgh, California High School.
Pittsburgh, California, Northern California. And he came down, and I had a uncle that played and was a living legend there. And as soon as Tony Knapp walked in my house, my uncle was there and said, "You're going to Utah State because we trust Tony Knapp to take care of you." And that's so important when you're recruiting, and to have that kind of trust that, your son or daughter is going to a place where they'll be taken care of.
And again,
Utah State did that.
Remember, Tony Knapp was here, had some great years. All of a sudden, they have 1 year, it wasn't the greatest, decided to turn on him. And he turned out to start Boise State's program. He got UNLV going, all of these programs into Division I football, the former Aggie. And I'm glad they've put him now in the Hall of Fame for Utah State and all that, too. He deserves that.
Yeah, just a great knowledge of the game, but also the players loved him. A great players coach.
He was the guy that was kind of behind the John Ralston teams. Ralston was out in the front of everything and was a PR kind of guy, and Tony Knapp was the guy who got it done. So,
exactly.
Okay. And then I'm with a legend of John Russell, if all of you don't know. John's dad is probably more well-known than anybody. His dad's been a national comedian of politics forever.
Yes. Awesome. Political satirist.
And he was terrific. When I was a kid, I'd watch him on PBS playing the piano and talking about I wish he'd have a shot at the race right now in the state of Utah between Lee and McMullen or whatever. Put those guys down.
Yeah. He's out there. Go to markrussell.net. You can hear him.
He's still
clearly the gene skips it. I'm an accountant, so we're about as funny as a doorknob. So.
But John loves college basketball. He's been a long time fan, but he's turned into a good football guy. He's been doing helping Craig Hislop with the Green Canyon games this year in the last couple of years, so that's great. And John, about Monday night when the Aggies play basketball, and then next Saturday night, I don't know who will want to be here when it's like 1 o'clock in the morning when the game is over in Hawaii. But,
DJ just said he'd be here.
Oh, okay.
You can find. Well, I might need to call in.
We may have to call DJ to have him make a comment or two. John, I just happened to have him here this weekend, and it worked out. I appreciate you guys coming in so much, all of you. Okay, and John, I'll see you Monday night.
You betcha. It was
Thanks
a treat.
again.
It was a pleasure.
Okay. It was a lot of fun. 27-10. It was a fun game to watch because the Aggies made some plays with their special teams and got it done to win this game. And again, let's get it right now. Utah State gets the record up to, again, 4-5 and has a chance to maybe get some more stuff done on this football season for sure as they head towards, again, probably trying to get that to, 5, 6, 7 victories on this season. They got a shot at it, again, with the win today over to Mexico, and it wasn't easy. I got to do the final stats for Cache Valley Bank. 280 yards for Utah State, 258 yards for New Mexico. New Mexico only had 42 passing yards. I think they only had 1 passing yard after the first quarter. And then the Aggies didn't have much rushing in the first half. They ended up with 131 rushing and 149 passing. And New Mexico did get 216 rushing, but a lot of those were big gash plays. Aggies had 12 penalties on the day, 5 on the day for New Mexico in the penalties. And we mentioned individually in the stats, we told you Cooper Lega ended up going 13 for 27, but Briggs had 82 yards. Again, he can fill in very nicely if Calvin Tyler can't go. Tyler had 23, Lega 14, Constantly had 10, Coles had 6. So our special teams guys got those 16 yards there. And in the air, Terrell Vaughn had 5 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown. Cobbs had 4 for 31. McGriff had 1 for 16. Nana Davis had 2 for 11, and Sturzer had 1 for 8. Hunter Reynolds, 10 tackles in the game, and the scoop touchdown of 35 yards. 8 tackles for Ike Larson in the game. And Max Alford, who's a true freshman out of Park City, He had 8 tackles, 4 solos, and he had a tackle and a half for a loss in the game today. So that's your stats for Cache Valley Bank. No two banks are the same. Why should banking solutions be any different? No two businesses are the same, and no two banks are the same. Cache Valley Bank will give you the banking solutions that will help you whatever your business situation is. And, of course, they're local, now statewide, and into the region as a great bank. That'll do it for our coverage on the Fan and KVNU. We'll rejoin our regularly scheduled programs in progress. Have the rest of a good Saturday. We'll be back Monday night at 6 for our game day of Aggie basketball. That'll do it for tonight on the Fan and KVNU. Aggies win 27-10.
United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is